Do you know how ludicrous of a showrunner you have to be for both of your leads to say, okay, I had enough. I'm out. On two occasions? They really think we just fell out of a coconut tree, huh? Hey all, how are y'all? It's me, Elaha. Hey guys, and welcome back or welcome to Elements of Elaha, where I talk about things that interest me, affect me, or am very passionate about. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about two black showrunners that hate their leads. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first showrunner I want to talk about is Nkechi Okoro-Carroll, and she is the showrunner of All American and its spin-off show All American Homecoming. Now my last two videos focused on All American up to season 6 episode 9, which was the 100th episode, and then my most recent video focused on All American Homecoming. So I am just going to talk about the remaining episodes of All American season 6 and a little bit of All American Homecoming season 3, starting off with the draft day episode. So Spencer originally was supposed to be a top 5 pick for the first round of the NFL draft. So we see in episode 12, which was the draft day episode, Spencer is able to spoil himself, spoil his girl, spoil his family, and even spoil his agent. So once the James family, and that includes Olivia too, by the way, gets all dolled up, we're ready to go see Spencer get drafted on that big stage. And you know what happens? They use this as an opportunity to embarrass him on national television. And you know why he didn't get drafted? It's for the stupidest reason. Just watch this clip.
It's the entrapment, man. It's the ridiculous questions about our personal life, the endless physical evaluations, cognitive tests, workout drills. These teams are checking everything but our damn teeth, man.
Like, people have said worse and done worse and still were able to be successful. But Spencer, that just told it like it is, he gets punished for that. And to add more salt onto his wound, Wade, the person that taunted Olivia and called the SWAT team on the friend group that is majority black people, he almost got them killed. And he was still able to be drafted in the first round. And also in this episode, Olivia has her first book signing for her children's book that she did based off her dad's life, Coach Billy. And just to embarrass her, nobody showed up to her book signing originally. It's like they have this fetish for just punishing Olivia while everybody else doesn't get half the struggle that they do. And you would think, since Olivia is one of the lighter skinned characters, that they would favor her, but no. It's like they're punishing Spencer and Olivia for being the fan favorite characters. It is absolutely ridiculous. Like, almost every other character on this show gets everything handed to them. And not only do they have to beat down Spencer and Olivia, they have to stomp on them and spit on them too before they achieve their dreams. So originally season 6 was planned to have 13 episodes, and episode 13 focused on, since Spencer wanted to take his mind off not being drafted in the first round, Jordan asked him to be the officiant for him and Layla's wedding. Granted, the whole season 6 just gave you reason after reason after reason as to why those two should not be married, but hey, after this whole will they won't they that nobody cares about except a bunch of hurt spelas, because that's what they are, here we are. So one thing I will appreciate at the very least is that Spencer James' voodoo is strong. You try and jeopardize Spencer and his bright future, it will cost you. Asher couldn't play again. Cam couldn't play again. Frosto couldn't play again. Jordan's bum behind got concussed. So I'll give him that. You try and come for Spencer's NFL dreams. He even said in that Romeo and Juliet episode that aired right before the draft day, he was talking about, oh yeah, Spencer's like, I'm about to get drafted. And Jordan's like, I don't care. And that's supposed to be your brother. Mind you, you've already gotten married twice. This is nothing new. Only for after he gets married for the third time for him to be like, actually, I don't feel any different. You can get married anytime you want. You weren't even planning to be married for another 2 years. Getting drafted into the NFL is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Like, really? And Spencer, out of the kindness of his heart, still decided to be an officiant to him and Layla's wedding. Again, Spencer is too nice for me. I would not be the officiant to Jordan and Layla's wedding one bit after Jordan treated me like crap. This whole show, really, this whole show. And so after Bordela's commercial break wedding, they didn't even get vows. I mean, you just have to laugh. But yeah, eventually we do see that Spencer does get drafted in the middle of their wedding. So yay! Yes. See? They have to beat him down so much for him to finally get drafted. Imagine, like, seeing Spencer all decked out, getting drafted on that lavish stage. It would have been it. But, happy for him. So after he gets drafted, the gag is we get another time skip. So Spencer gets drafted to the New York Bobcats and he wins the Super Bowl. And Spencer and Olivia finally get engaged. It was so cute. It literally made me cry. But that originally was the ending for the show. How are you going to end the show and not originally have your ship get engaged? Having your leads come back as guest stars for a 5-minute cameo wedding? Rubbish. So the last 2 episodes are supposed to focus on Spilivia's engagement and wedding, and they can't even enjoy that because you know why? Their wedding venue gets ruined.
Girl, stop playing with us right now. Like, we really don't feel like it.
The same ship that's had at least 4 or 5 wedding stairs. Let's count them, shall we? Jordan and Simone's Vegas wedding. Jordan and Simone's second wedding. Grace's wedding. They even hinted towards it in that 100th episode where Spencer asked Liv to move in with him and they kiss under that wedding arch. And at Bordela's wedding. 5 hints to marriage. Olivia was the only one, since she was a baby, talking about how her wedding day would be. And yet, y'all couldn't let them be happy. And it gets more ridiculous. So Kechi ended up writing the finale, the wedding episode. And so basically this episode takes place right after they found out that their wedding venue was ruined. And Olivia is constantly talking about how Spencer and Olivia can't catch a break.
Wedding, it's our whole relationship. First I liked him and he wasn't ready. And then he told me he loved me and I was scared. And then my relapse our journalism and football dreams clashing, then London. I mean, it was supposed to be 3 months. I mean, every time life gets in the way, or other people do, or we can't get it together, each delay just keeps us apart for months, or I mean, years sometimes.
How are you going to have your female lead recall all the times that you've had them struggle, all the times you traumatized them? And as you're writing that, as you're editing that script, as you're filming that script, be like, isn't that funny? And continue to kick them down one more time before they go. What's not clicking? Are you mad? Seriously, are you mad? Eh? So, even in the first half of the episode, Spencer is determined to give his fiance, his wife, the wedding she deserves. And instead of dwelling on the happy moments, there was their movie nights, the night they first became official, their first date, when Spencer asked Liv to move in with him. Like, there were so many other happy moments that they could have flashed back to. So one of the flashbacks we did get was the Vegas flashback after their epic first kiss. And instead of dwelling on the happy moment, no. Kechi wanted Olivia to dwell on the fact that at the time she was still with Asher, but Spencer wasn't with Layla, and how they couldn't be together. Then we flash back to the pilot episode where Spencer and Olivia had their first sushi date, but Layla was in the way, making it seem like their whole relationship was just struggle after struggle after struggle, when this is supposed to be a happy send-off in the first half. Even she got my baby girl crying on her wedding day. And those aren't happy tears. But thankfully, she gets the wedding she deserves, because they get married in the place where it all started, the James backyard. And it was so sweet. It was so adorable. I cried several times watching their vows. And they literally had the best first dance I have ever seen. And probably the best first dance to have ever aired on a network television show. It's the Blackest Wedding, and it's probably like the last black wedding the CW will ever have. Like, Daniel and Sam ate that up. Like, thank you, Daniel, Ezra, and thank you, Samantha, Logan. So it was announced shortly before the final 2 episodes aired that Daniel Ezra would no longer be returning to All American as the protagonist, Spencer James. And so reading the interviews after the finale, it was pretty much hinted that this was also Samantha Logan, who is the female lead of the show's last season 2. And I'm just glad that they were like, hey, we're not leaving until Spencer and Liv get their happy ending. And now that Spencer and Liv got their happy ending, they can go. So they pretty much wrapped everybody else's story up. So there's really no need for a season 7. So now they're bringing the show back to high school, which they're just going to do a worse version of what we've already seen on TV, because they don't have another original bone in their body. There's not going to be football anymore, which is stupid because the show is a sports drama. And they decided to add a rubbish plot line about Billy having a secret older brother. Again, why? You write this rubbish and you're surprised why your leads left you. And you confidently think that without your leads, the show can have a successful season 7. This show ain't Friday Night Lights. This show ain't Degrassi. This show was based off the real life Spencer Paysinger and Spencer and his wife Blair's relationship, which was Spencer and Olivia. So how do you plan to do a successful season 7? And so I'm just gonna briefly touch on All-American Homecoming season 3. As I expected, nothing's changed. It's more nonsense. So this season 3 is basically like, I didn't think you could make season 5 of All-American, but make that even worse. That is All-American Homecoming season 3. So again, all the time where I see people talk about it's better, like if you guys had just watched the original show, you would see that nothing is original. They take it and they make it worse. Like already, they can't play baseball again. Already, Simone played her first match and she lost. She's supposed to be enjoying herself because all they do is stress her out and villainize her. And she finally celebrates her 21st birthday, but she can't even enjoy it because you know why? She's sick.
That's enough. Oh, that's enough. Woo.
They're really thinking of giving my girl cancer. After all she's been through since she was a junior in high school, all they've done is make her suffer for no reason. Then you have some homecoming watchers literally determine Simone's likability based off how she interacts with her two love interests, Damon and Lando. Like they're like, oh, you guys don't care about Simone, but when Simone doesn't pick the guy that you wanted her to pick, all of a sudden she's evil. Oh, Simone doesn't deserve him. Shut up. Shut up. No matter who Simone picked, I will always love Simone. But saying that she doesn't deserve love or she doesn't deserve a good man because sometimes the decisions she makes, like you side-eye her a bit, is crazy to me. Like, you got Thea that was terrorizing Simone in season 1. Tootie that was terrorizing Simone in season 2. All of a sudden, season 3, she wants to be the voice of reason. All Simone told her teammate was, hey, if you're going to reserve the court, come on time. That's all she said. And then all of a sudden, they want to act like Simone was as bad as Thea. She's not even as bad as Thea. Like, if you want somewhere that's going to baby you, don't play sports. Because how do you know you're going to get better without criticism? And Simone is team captain for a reason, because she works hard. And it pays off for her. Or at least it's supposed to, because the writers hate her, but in theory, it does. But anyways, final thoughts on her shows. Basically, Lamone, Endgame, Lando and Simone, Endgame. Simone deserves everything, okay? And whatever they're doing with Gabrielle, stop it. Do not break them up. Do not break them up. Gabby, that was there through thick and thin. She literally brought JR back to life, and all of a sudden, JR starting to push away. And for Keisha, again, this is literally just, if they can make season 5 of All-American worse, that would be that. Those two, again, never interacted. JR and Keisha have never interacted, but now all of a sudden they got scenes. I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending, so stop it! As Cam said, it would be dumb for you to let a dope chick like Gabby go JR. So Jesse Raymond Jr., get your act together. At least you know with Homecoming being canceled and Daniel and Sam leaving, 2024 is the end of me watching the CW. I have a Superman and Lois video coming up that I'm gonna try and get out before the season 4 premiere in October. But for now, let's just move on to the other showrunner that I wanted to talk about. The second showrunner I wanted to talk about is Eric Wallace. So Eric Wallace took over The Flash for season 6 through 9 after Todd Helbing had left to be the showrunner of CW's Superman and Lois. And so once Eric took over, the format of the show changed. So usually The Flash would spend about 20 to 23 episodes focused on defeating one main villain. But Eric Wallace kind of wanted to take a page out of Salim Akil's Black Lightning. So how Black Lightning would structure their episodes is it would have one main plot, but then they would have mini subplots that they would separate into books. Now, what Eric did was he would split The Flash into 2 or 3 parts that he called graphic novels. And these would usually be about 5 to 7 episodes. Then he would do an interlude in the middle, and then he would do another graphic novel. And the issue with this is, with these graphic novels, is they always start off good. And then they just don't do anything when it comes to the end. The build-up is kind of good. And then when it comes to the finale, just everything falls flat. So you're like, what's the point of this? Honestly, the build-up was good, only for the resolution to be garbage. So the first part of season 6 focused on the last major Arrowverse crossover, and that was Crisis on Infinite Earths, where all the Earths were dying to create the one main Earth, Earth Prime. So originally in the Flash timeline, Barry was supposed to vanish on April 25th, 2024. But that date was moved up to December 9th, 2019. And around that time, that's when Crisis aired, featuring 2 new Arrowverse heroes, Black Lightning, aka Jefferson Pierce, and the first Batwoman, Kate Kane. So now, all these shows, instead of taking place on different Earths, now take place on one Earth. And Crisis literally happens after Barry and Iris have to grieve the original Nora. The original Nora was erased from the timeline after her going to work with Barry's arch enemy, Eobard Thawne. So after the crisis is over, thankfully, Barry is not the one that vanishes. He's not the one that dies. It is the Flash from Earth 90 that sacrifices himself. Barry and Iris cannot catch a break, because not too long after Crisis is over and the main villain for part 1, Bloodwork, is defeated, we now deal with our second arc of season 6, and that was the main villain, Ava McCulloch, and Mirrors. Her name's Mirror Monarch. And what ends up happening is Iris is snatched from the new Earth, Earth Prime, and replaced with Mirror Iris, who is a more ruthless version of Iris and apparently can cook. I don't know how nobody noticed that really wasn't Iris, because Barry, you know your wife can't cook pancakes. She even said she was going to make you a banana. And nobody noticed Iris. That was not the real Iris. Iris was just watching from the mirror dimension of the evil version of her taking over her life. It was so sad. And even after Iris was brought back from the mirror dimension, she didn't really have a lot of time to process her trauma, because that is when the worst arc of the show happened. And that was the first official season 7 arc, the Forces arc. And honestly, after season 6 ended, I could describe the last 3 seasons in 4 words: don't piss me off. But they continued to do that. So after Team Flash defeats Mirror Monarch, after the Speed Force died in season 6, the Speed Force is now resurrected, so giving Barry his full speed back, and 3 additional forces are created. The Still Force, which is Dion, the Strength Force, which is Forza, and the Sage Force, which is Psyche. So basically, Barry and Iris have to play children to 4 grown adults, and one of them is taking the face of his dead mom.
What is this, honey?
And the one that's taking the face of his dead mom wants to try and kill Iris. And you have the audacity to be wearing Nora Allen's beautiful face. And you gonna try and kill her daughter-in-law. But anyways, after that garbage arc, this is what apparently motivates Iris to be like, hey, instead of us thinking about these grown adults as our children, how about we start our own family? So I was like, okay, hey, Nora's about to be born soon. We about to get a pregnant Iris, hey. No. You know what we did get? Iris's time sickness. So due to this time sickness, this leads Iris to be absent in not only 1, but 3 episodes back to back. How are you going to have your female lead missing for 3 episodes and give her sickness on top of that? All we wanted was a pregnant Iris, but nope. We didn't get that. But eventually, Iris does return in the last 2 episodes, which focus more on Team Flash trying to defeat Godspeed. Which Godspeed was a very interesting villain when they introduced him in seasons 5 and 6. But when he had his about 4-episode arc, it was horrible. Like, Godspeed was built up to be such a menacing villain, and yet that arc was garbage. The only thing I really did enjoy about that arc was 1, Bart, aka Impulses, which is West Allen's son's introduction. And if it's one thing I can give Eric credit for, was West Allen's vow renewal ceremony, because we know that Barry and Iris did not get married. They did not even get married in their own show. They got married in a crossover. And then Oliver and Felicity's selfish behinds wanted to tag team that. Why are you making Barry and Iris's wedding about y'all? Oh my goodness, like, they just pissed me off so bad. I can't stand either one of them. So now moving on to season 8, the first arc of season 8 was Armageddon, where an alien named Despero comes to kill the Flash because he starts Armageddon and the city goes crazy. So we eventually learn the cause of Armageddon in the 4th out of the 5-episode arc. And in this arc, we learn that Joe has died. He fell on some train tracks and he got hit by a train. Or was he pushed? You know, my girl Iris is a journalist. So she was like, I don't think this was an unfortunate accident. I think he was killed. And then they have the audacity to villainize Iris. And you know who wants to be yelling at Iris? Cecile. How are you going to have the audacity to yell at Iris when she's known Joe longer than she did? Cecile was like, I can't believe you're trying to make me relive through this trauma again. He's the father of my child. Are you not embarrassed? You and this man were not even together for a full year, right? You've been together for years. You're living together. You have a kid. You're still doing boyfriend, girlfriend. And Medicaid is calling your name. And Social Security is calling your name. You're doing boyfriend, girlfriend. Eh? How dare she yell at my Iris? How dare she? And the rest of them didn't even do anything to back Iris up. So the main reason for all of this nonsense was because Thawne went back in the timeline to make sure that Barry never became the Flash, all because Barry stole his spotlight. That is some real hater nonsense, because are you kidding me? And also in this timeline, he's married to Iris. Extra salt on the wound. So finally, once Barry resets the timeline, Joe was brought back to life, and I'm like, oh yay! I really wanted to see a Joe and Jefferson interaction, but that happened when Joe was dead. And so I was like, oh yay, Joe is, he's alive again. And so basically, Thawne comes back to the regular timeline, and he's like, hey, Flash, I need your help. I'm dying. Aww. You think you were just gonna mess with the timeline, and the timeline wasn't gonna mess with you right back. You reap what you sow. So Barry and Iris were like, okay, you messed with the timeline. You trying to kill me? You trying to erase me out of existence? Nah, you can die. Key word. He caused this. He is going to deal with the consequences of his actions. Death. And you know who has the audacity to open his mouth and say that what Barry and Iris are doing are as bad as Thawne? Joseph. He did think that Henry Allen killed his wife up until Thawne, up until he saw that Thawne was the reason why Nora's dead. He killed Nora. He stabbed Nora. So, you know what Thawne did. You know he caused all of this. Yet, Barry and Iris are the villains for letting Thawne die. Granted, they didn't kill him. He suffering the consequences of his own terrible actions. Yet you're yelling at Barry and Iris? When Iris almost died, when Barry almost died several times because of that man. Yet you're gonna put them on the same level as that monster? So Barry was like, okay, fine. Like, I'll help you by taking away your speed. And so, basically, after that, we get introduced to this new girl named Tinya Wazo. So, Iris tries to help Tinya locate her mom, Renee. And mind you, Iris is still dealing with her time sickness at this time. She cannot control when she goes in and out of time. So when she finally reunites Tinya with her mom, they only talk for 2 seconds, mind you. She accidentally gets Renee out of existence, and instead of giving Iris time to explain, you know what she does? She attacks Iris. For something she can't even control, by the way. So I was thinking, okay, this is something that's just going to be a one and done. She returned the next episode. And no, it wasn't. Because guess what happens after Frost's funeral? She disappears again. And again, don't piss me off. Part 3. After Iris goes missing for the second time in the span of 5 episodes, no one bothered to look for her. Not even her own husband. Really? Like, he was just so determined to ruin Wes Allen's relationship for what? This was literally the second time, not even, yes. This was the third time. Each season has always separated Barry and Iris. And it was even worse in season 8 because all of a sudden they want to write Barry out of character and make him be like, oh yeah, my wife is missing. I don't know what time period she's in now, but let's just play board games. Yeah. Joe has the audacity to give Barry and Iris all that mouth about letting Thawne live, but your daughter's literally floating through time and you don't even care.
Girl, you're a Joe.
And you know what's even worse about this is Iris is missing for 4 consecutive episodes. And Eric wanted to blame Candice, the actress that plays Iris, as to why she was not in those 4 episodes, when that certainly wasn't the case. Like, how are you gonna lie on your leading lady like that? And you know she's gotten hate ever since she got casted as Iris, and you're just gonna do that? What's wrong with you? And then, out of solidarity for my Cancer twin, my Zodiac twin, besides the first episode she was missing where Nora guest starred in, I did not watch the remaining 3 episodes of season 8 that she wasn't in. I just watched the Barry clips and I went about my business. So when Iris finally comes back in the season 8 penultimate episode, she comes back to 2049 and reunites with her kids, Nora and Bart. And when Iris comes back to 2022, present day, you know what's the first thing that happens? She gets killed. Barry has never killed anybody. And while he was trying to hit Thawne, they make him kill his wife. But don't worry, Iris is fine. His whole theme of season 8 was having Barry and Iris level up. But really, y'all didn't have to kill Iris for that. But her time sickness is finally cured in the season 8 finale. And do you think him and Iris are gonna finally stop suffering and not be separated again?
Lies, lies, and more lies, and lies on top of lies.
So let's get into season 9, the final season of The Flash. So then, this show is supposed to be about the fastest man alive. So it makes sense that your protagonist should be the most powerful out of all the metahumans. But no, he isn't. You can clearly tell who his fan favorites are, and they are not the 2 leads, Barry and Iris. So he decides to give Cecile more powers. I blame Todd Helbing, bro. After she popped that baby out her coochie, those powers should have been gone. They should have been gone. But not only does Cecile use her powers on her friends without their consent, when she actually needs them to, all of a sudden she wants to act like she has morals. But in the season 8 finale, they gave her telekinesis. they gave her the power to force out the evil of one spirit, and they also gave her the power of flight. Even when we saw them in the penultimate episode, why is Cecile in her 80s fighting crime when she's supposed to be taking care of her kid? Jenna practically raised herself. She practically raised herself. But we're in 2049. Cecile is supposed to be using a rocker. She's supposed to be grayed up. She's supposed to be having dentures. But the only one that's aged is Iris. She looks good, by the way. But, interesting. And then in season 9, they decide to kill Caitlin off and rebirth her into this Mother Nature human spirit entity named Keon, where in season 9, where Nora is finally supposed to be born in the present day timeline, in regular main ship fashion of showrunners that hate their leads, West Island can't have crap. A nice private moment Barry and Iris were supposed to have about Iris finding out she's pregnant was ruined by a character that's been there for 2 episodes. Since she's reborn, she's only been alive for 3 weeks. Yet, they ruin it.
You alright?
Yeah, sorry, I'm fine. I feel a little lightheaded. Gosh, that's so weird. I don't know why I feel that way. Sorry.
I do. You're pregnant. Oh, you didn't know? Oh, I'm so sorry. Congratulations.
I'm supposed to be pregnant for another 3 months.
And they can't even enjoy a nice pregnancy era because you know what happens once Iris is about to go into labor? Barry goes missing. They just lie. They lie, and they lie. Every time where you think, okay, they're gonna have some peace. He was the main one. After that whole fiasco of Iris being missing for 4 episodes, he's like, okay, we're going to see a lot more of West Island in season 9 to have them separated for the 4th time. Can you imagine what the workers at the hospital must be like? Like, you mean to tell me your husband was here and then he disappeared as you're about to give birth to your daughter? And then when Barry went into the Speed Force for 6 months, how Iris was, I don't know how she was able to explain her fiance being missing for 6 months. I don't know. I don't know. But even though they teased Cobalt Blue in the season 8 finale, they didn't get to Cobalt Blue until the last 4 episodes of the show. They did Red Death in the first 5 episodes, but it was basically a knockoff Zune. Boring. I'm gonna steal his speed by getting him to run on a treadmill. Boring. Get something else. But yeah, seeing the theories of Eddie coming back as Cobalt Blue, basically, instead of making him like a menacing villain, it was just giving bitter ex-boyfriend, bitter ex-fiance. It was never going to be you, Buki. It was never going to be you. Joe, when Joe saw that ring that you were going to use to propose to Iris, he literally laughed. He was like, no, you ain't marrying my daughter. And even since they were little, it was always going to be West Island. It was never going to be you. I'm pretty sure he was mad. Like, oh, you just realized you killed yourself for nothing, huh? Thinking I'm the only one related to Thon. He not going to come back. He did several times and several times and several times over. It got old. Like, he used to be the best villain in the show, and then it just got tired. It got tired real fast and real quick. When Eric was talking about writing the series finale, he was like, this is one of the best episodes we ever written. The thing is, when he wants to, Eric can write good episodes. Like, he writes good premieres. It's always the finales that he sucks on. So basically, the season 9 finale, the series finale, showcased all of the biggest villains that the Flash has faced. Instead of showcasing how much Barry has grown in the 9 seasons, he literally would have been able to beat all of them by himself. But they made this a team effort, and the only person he was fighting, Eddie. They made Barry lose. They made him get beat by Eddie. Eddie! Of all people. Don't make me laugh. This is not the time for motivational speeches. This is not the time for therapy sessions. This is time for good old yash whooping. And to add more insults, during this, Thawne kills Chester. So after finally giving us a ship that nobody asked for, Chester and Allegra in season 9, Chester's dead for like 6 seconds. I'll be nice. 6 minutes. And when he finally comes alive again, Allegra says, "Oh, Chuck, you came back to me." He was gone for 6 minutes. That does not work. When Ira said you came back to me, to Barry, he was gone for 6 months. He was out of his mind when he came back. And y'all gonna use that on Chester and Allegra? For what? And then, finally, after the bundle of joy, Nora is born again. Because they can't have anything to themselves. Joe, that had all this time, Joe that's been with Cecile since season 3, 6 years. You have a 6-year-old daughter. Why did you choose to propose at your granddaughter's welcoming ceremony?
Yawning, sloppy, lazy.
And that was before the end card rolled. Really? You selfish piece of crap. But anyways, I'm just happy that before Daniel and Sam left and before Grant and Candice left, that all their characters got a happy ending. They're all happy and successful, and I just love that. But as for Kechi and Eric, do not give them any more shows. Because who needs haters when their biggest haters are their own showrunners? But anyways, y'all, that is the end of the video. If you like the video, give it a like and subscribe. And check out my last video right here. Anyways, y'all, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.